If your cat stretches when they see you, it isn't random. You probably notice it and move on, assuming it's just a reflex or part of a routine. But cats don't move carelessly, especially around others. A stretch is one of the few moments when a cat eases control over its body. Speed drops, reaction time slows, balance shifts. In the wild, that's exposure, and exposure only happens when danger is ruled out. So when your cat stretches at the exact moment they register you, they're responding to your presence, not their muscles. Cats read environments constantly. They evaluate movement, energy, and intent before relaxing even slightly. If something feels off, they stay compact and ready. Stretching means the opposite. It signals that your cat has assessed the situation and decided there is no need to stay guarded. They're not tired. That's because you're there. Cats communicate far more through posture than sound. And this posture, in particular, is a quiet acknowledgement. It's your cat saying they recognize you, accept you, and feel no need to defend themselves in that moment. That isn't affection in the human sense. It's trust expressed through instinct. And once you understand that, you start noticing something else. How rarely your cat does this around anyone who isn't you. Stretching in this context functions as a social signal. It is not aimed at the environment. It is aimed at a specific individual. Cats do not broadcast vulnerability. They direct it. This is why the same cat may stretch openly in front of you and remain closed and compact around someone else in the same room. The difference is not mood. It is familiarity. A cat that recognizes a person as predictable does not allocate energy to monitoring them. That energy is conserved. Stretching marks that conservation. It indicates that the cat has already categorized you as non-threatening and does not need to maintain defensive posture in your presence. This also explains why the behavior often happens at entry points, doorways, hallways, moments of arrival. Those are points of potential change. New information enters the space. If the cat stretches instead of retreating or watching closely, it means the change has been evaluated and dismissed. You are not an intrusion. You are part of the baseline. This is not submission. Cats do not submit socially the way dogs do. It is allowance. The cat is allowing proximity without preparation. That allowance is not given freely. It is earned through consistency. And once given, it becomes a silent routine until something disrupts it. The timing of the stretch is not accidental. Cats do not ease their body first and decide later. Their nervous system works in the opposite order. The moment you appear, the assessment is already underway. Your speed, your posture, the way you move through space, whether your energy matches what the cat expects. This evaluation takes seconds, sometimes less. If something feels unfamiliar or unstable, the body stays contained. Weight stays low. Muscles remain engaged. The cat watches. So when a stretch happens right away, it tells you the evaluation is already complete. Nothing about your arrival required heightened awareness. The stretch does not help the cat decide whether you are safe. It happens because that decision has already been made. This is why the behavior often appears at moments of transition, entryways, door frames. The instant someone crosses into the cat's space, those moments carry the highest potential for change. New information enters the environment all at once. If the cat stretches instead of tracking movement or creating distance, it means the change was recognized and dismissed as irrelevant. Your presence did not introduce uncertainty. It restored familiarity. In that sense, the stretch functions almost like punctuation. It closes the assessment. The cat is not reacting to comfort. It is responding to predictability. Predictable beings do not require monitoring. They do not require preparation. That is why the stretch appears immediately, not gradually. The body does not need time to adjust. It already knows what to expect from you. How people react to it incorrectly. The problem is not that people miss the signal. It's that they respond too quickly. Humans tend to treat any visible openness as permission. A stretch looks relaxed. It looks inviting. So people step forward. They reach out. They fill the space. From the cat's perspective, the conditions that allowed relaxation have changed. The stretch was possible because nothing was required in return. The moment expectation appears, the state collapses. This is where most misunderstandings begin. Cats do not initiate interaction to escalate it. They open space and observe what happens inside it. If movement becomes sudden or directional, the body shifts back to control. Not emotionally, mechanically. Many owners interpret this as inconsistency. They assume the cat is unpredictable or moody. In reality, the response was predictable. The signal was never an invitation to act. It was a statement of tolerance. Another common mistake is looming. Leaning over the cat's body changes the balance of power instantly. To a cat, vertical presence equals pressure. Even soft voices and familiar hands can trigger withdrawal if they arrive too fast or too close. This teaches the nervous system a simple lesson. Offering openness leads to intrusion. Over time, the body stops offering the signal at all. Cats adapt quickly to patterns that remove the need for correction, and this is why some cats appear distant, even though nothing dramatic ever happened. The signal was simply misunderstood often enough to be abandoned. When this behavior disappears, it is not random and it is not gradual. Cats do not slowly grow out of signals that are tied to safety. They stop offering them when the internal conditions change. Stretching in your presence requires a low baseline of tension. Once that baseline rises, the behavior is removed automatically. This shift often happens before any visible change in personality, before avoidance, irritability, vocalization, because the body reacts faster than conscious behavior. Environmental instability is the most common trigger. New routines, new occupants, altered schedules, increased noise or movement. Even changes that seem minor to humans can push a cat back into constant monitoring. Physical discomfort can have the same effect. Pain increases vigilance. Vigilance eliminates unnecessary exposure. In both cases, the body simplifies its priorities. Anything that does not serve immediate regulation is cut. This is why the absence of stretching is more informative than the presence of obvious stress behaviors. The cat is not withdrawing from you. It is reallocating attention to self-protection. And because this process is unconscious, punishment or correction has no effect. The only way the behavior returns is when stability does. Predictable movement, respect for space, consistent patterns. When those conditions are restored, the signal may reappear quietly without announcement, which is why noticing its disappearance early matters. It is the body speaking before the cat has any other way to respond. Why not all cats show this behavior the same way? Cats do not operate from a shared standard of openness. Each cat develops its own threshold for releasing physical control, and that threshold is shaped long before adulthood. Early handling matters. Kittens that experienced calm, predictable contact often grow into adults who display relaxation through visible movement. Others learn to keep their body contained even when they feel secure. Past disruption also leaves a mark. Cats that have experienced sudden changes, forced handling, or instability tend to rely on tighter physical regulation as a default. Some cats communicate comfort by moving more. Others communicate it by moving less. Age shifts this balance further. As cats grow older, efficiency replaces expression. They conserve motion, reduce unnecessary exposure, and simplify responses. A reduced or minimal stretch can still indicate comfort if it remains consistent over time. This is why comparison between cats is misleading. What matters is the pattern within the same individual, how they respond today compared to yesterday, how their body changes under the same conditions. Trust does not have a single shape. It adapts to experience, memory, and physical state. And stretching is just one way that adaptation becomes visible. A stretch is not something a cat performs for you. It is something the body allows when conditions feel right. That's why it matters. It is quiet, it is brief, and it disappears the moment stability is compromised. Most meaningful signals in cat behavior work this way. They appear only when nothing else is required. Understanding this changes how you watch your cat. You stop looking for affection. You start noticing regulation. The stretch tells you that, in that moment, your presence does not demand attention, defense, or adjustment. And once you begin treating it that way, you stop chasing responses and start earning them naturally. Because when a cat stretches in your presence, the message is already complete. Nothing else needs to be added.